The fighting games competitive scene is in shambles. EVO is effectively canceled indefinitely, and it all stems from a claim coming from the Super Smash Bros Ultimate community. Look, it's been a while since I've covered a story like this on the channel, and I was almost too disturbed by these details to do this video. But I feel like spreading the information of these claims against Cinnpie by the alleged victim Puppeh, which I wish I didn't have to use language like claims and alleged, because I personally have chosen to believe Puppeh and stand by him in his brave effort in coming out against his abuser, against his oppressor, against this predator, Cinnpie, who has hidden themselves in our community of Smash. And the evidence is definitely there. Videos of a grown 24-year-old person, adult, getting touchy with a child, a 14-year-old minor, in public. And I mean, if Cinnpie was that bold to be doing what they were seen doing on videos and amongst adult friends at Smash parties, then it makes me shudder to think what they were doing in private, what the grown person Cinnpie was doing to their victim Puppeh in private. And make no mistakes about it, there is more than what was revealed in Puppeh's initial TwitLonger post. He said it was some things that he was not even comfortable with coming out with yet. And I think what hits me the most is seeing that image of Puppeh, what he looked like at 14. The videos of them in the background and the size difference, because you could see clearly Puppeh was a baby. He didn't even look 14 to me. Like, if you took that picture of him with that red background with that newscaster besides him, you know, like if you took that picture out of context and you showed that to me, I would have thought he was 10. And to think that a grown adult Cinnpie was doing the criminal things they were doing to that innocent kid makes me sick to my stomach. What hurts me the most is that every adult around Puppeh failed him. The people who shot the footage and asked no questions of why Cinnpie was getting heavy-handed with Puppeh. All the adults and at the Smash party who were there, who were negligent, they didn't even try to put Cinnpie in her place. It vexes me, because where were the parents in all of this? How did this kid just go all around to these different places with no chaperone? No parent, no family member in reach. Cinnpie can never be forgiven for what they did. And the only way this comes to a close is when Cinnpie is behind bars for 20 years for the stuff they did to Puppeh. The things Cinnpie did, Puppeh admits, has already had effects on him. Long-lasting effects. And I hope that he has loved ones that are going to place a barrier of protection, love, and understanding around him in his troubled times. And I hope and I pray that Cinnpie is sentenced to 50 years to life in prison for harming Puppeh. With all the negative attention brought to the FGC and EVO due to Cinnpie's actions, there have been repercussions, as well there should have been. Firstly, we have EVO being canceled indefinitely in the midst of the Cinnpie allegations. But not only that, what preceded that decision was that company after company after company were pulling out of EVO and making statements that they no longer want to participate with EVO in their tournaments and their events as a result of the Cinnpie Puppeh allegations. And Capcom, even Bandai Namco, they themselves pulled out of these events immediately. And I have to say, I approve. I approve of that kind of response from these companies. Obviously, there is a huge negligence problem with how these tournaments were handled if the Puppeh and Cinnpie situation was allowed to take place in plain view. And no adult person had the wherewithal to notice and put a stop to it. If underage children were going to be allowed to participate in those tournaments, then, in my personal opinion, anybody participating and traveling to these things should have had to be 18 years old or older in the first place to be in the scene. But if kids were allowed to participate, why were there no chaperones available? Adults with background checks that should have been at hotels watching them, at events keeping eyes on interactions between players. And ultimately, the big question that supersedes all that is, where were the parents in all of this? Not to blame Puppeh's parents, because, I'm pretty sure that at this time, they're reeling and grieving after revelation of these events. But at the very least, why didn't the tournament committee require that young individuals have their parents' presence? I think that EVO should be closed permanently. I think that tournaments should be shut down and rethought and restructured, and should be something that individual companies control completely with precautions so that this type of thing never happens again. I think that underage individuals shouldn't be in tournaments and shouldn't be in settings with grown adults that aren't family members. And I think that for the foreseeable future, companies need to find new ways besides tournaments to promote their games, because ultimately that's what tournaments, that's the purpose that they serve. Maybe feature online tournament modes in the games themselves where people can play from the safety of their homes so that kids can be safe. But I think that for unforgivable actions of Cinnpie has shown that we need to take things back to square one, if not just stop these tournaments, because anything fun or decent you try to do, sadly, there will be people like Cinnpie allegedly there to corrupt it.